Hey, this is Ethan. Today we're going to talk about Native Instruments Massive. Um, you can spend literally 30, 40 hours learning this, watching different tutorials, reading everything. My goal is to get you just enough so that you can be dangerous and so that you can experiment yourself. I'd like to try not to put my aesthetic onto you so you can experiment freely. So this is the interface. If you go to the file menu here and take a new sound, that gets you kind of where you're going. Just a normal one oscillator, no filter kind of setup. So the first thing to know is you have 3 oscillators. These make the sound. You can get different sounds by combining things. You've also got a noise generator down here. Okay. Cool thing about this is that you can choose different colors of your noise. Here, let me just turn this off. Okay. You've also got lots of different types of noise to choose from. Okay. Obviously, you can make snare drums and stuff like that from white noise, but feel free to experiment. You can get really a lot of interesting sounds to come out. The oscillators are set up in a wavetable type of setup, so you basically choose your poison here. We've got lots and lots of different sounds. We've also got lots of different ways to change them here within the oscillator. Spectrum basically moves it between a wavetable position. So that's the intensity of the wave. We've got a formant filter. Let me pick a better wave for that. Let's take. Okay. Then bend gives you some other choices. Let me take a. Okay, so lots of choices here. Feel free to experiment. Obviously, we can get in here and do, kind of classic types of stuff. Let me turn him down a little bit. Give you some kind of polysynth sounds. You can also combine lots of different types of things. What I like to do is octave types of stuff. That's neither here nor there, though. We have a filter section here. You'll notice we have 2 filters. They can be run in series or parallel. So series means that filter 1 runs into filter 2, so you kind of get this dual type of filtering going. Parallel means they run totally independent of each other. And you'll see here there's a slider here that lets you choose how much of a sound goes to which filter. Okay, we've got a lot of choices, mostly low-pass filters. These remove high-end, high-pass filters remove low-end. All-pass is fun to play with. Kind of gives a chorusing effect if you move it around, or if we assign it to an LFO. Double notch removes 2 frequencies. Band pass is kind of the same idea. You're removing highs and lows, basically anything around this. And we get to choose how much. Or a lot. So it'll do less at that point. They all have a resonance knob. This is just an EQ bump where the cutoff is happening. You've got a couple really cool things specific to Massive to play with. There's a scream, which does what you would think. Kind of gives you electric guitar types of sounds. Deft and Acid. Basically, Scream, Deft, and Acid are all low-pass filters of some sort. Depending on how they're working, they get a different sound. Comb filter is kind of a chorusing effect. And that's basically a comb filter, which means it's removing, several notches. Okay, 2 filters. Then we've got really extensive modulation section. This is where the money is made here. Envelope 4 is always linked to volume, and you can see that up here. It's always linked to the amp, so this is where we kind of choose how the curve of the sound is. So slow attacks, we can do stuff like, there's a lot of fun that can be had with this type of stuff later. We've also got a release here. Fairly straightforward stuff. The cool thing about Massive is it's also got a loop section. And we can choose what kind of loop we get. And we can choose how many times it's going to loop. And we can choose a couple loops and morph between them. I found this is really useful for like cinema sound design kinds of stuff. If you want to do something a little strange. We can loop to infinity. Okay. Envelopes can be assigned anywhere by dragging the crosshair. Let's see where we put him. In there. You can also right-click and choose from a menu. Once you've got it assigned, you just click and drag on top of the number there to tell it what you want it to do. So you can see I'm taking the attack down. If I put this up all the way, it'll stay down. So you see what's happening here is I've done like a minus cutoff, so it's going to attack and land here at the bottom of the curve. If we take the level of the sustain down, it'll come back up halfway. Hopefully that makes sense. If we take it up, we're going to have the filter open. Okay, we can always right-click and turn things off and go try something else. We've got an LFO section. Kind of fun, you get a selection of curves here and you can morph between them. Okay, you notice this also has an assignment here, so we can drag an envelope down. Let's make it really obvious. Say here it starts down here. As that envelope kicks in, we morph up. Okay, anytime you see a box like that, something can be assigned. So have fun with that. There's a lot you can do. You've got 4 LFOs. Within each LFO, you can also change it over. So there's a menu here in the upper right. We can choose the performer. Again, we've got a curve morph. We've got 2 lines of curves. You'll notice we can go into load the curve, and we can start causing lots of mayhem. Let's see here. And this is all literally just click and drag. We can also go to my favorite, which is the stepper. You notice we've got a little bit assigned here. So, cool thing here is you can choose whether or not to restart this pattern. so then the pattern's moving independent, and when you've got your sequencer running, like when you're recording, this will just always run. So if you set up a rhythm pattern that you like, it'll always agree with the clock. Okay. A few other things. We've got a modulation oscillator where we can cause lots of pain. We can do ring modulation and get, here, let me just disable that oscillator for a second. Normal types of ring modulation phase, these are kind of fun to play with if you're looking for a spacey kind of sound. We've got two effects over here. The one that everybody's using is the dimension expander. Any sound gets bigger, basically. We've got lots of things to play with and choose from there. We've got an EQ as well. We've got feedback we can play with. Okay, fun to play with there. We've got a couple of insert effects. And then we've got tabs here. Basically, the voicing is the one I find myself in the most. We can choose polyphonic or monophonic. If you've chosen monophonic, you always have to come back to the oscillator and change the glide time over here. And then we've got a cool little routing thing where we can move around the feedback filter. Let's see here. So you'll notice you get lots of different sounds depending on where you're moving a few things. Same thing with the insert effects. You can put insert effects kind of at the end where it's getting everything, or you can put it after a specific filter. So that gives you a little bit of control. Okay, so that's enough to be dangerous. It kind of works on basic synthesis principles: oscillator, filter, modulation. So go have fun. Leave me a comment if you need to know anything. Thanks.